Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Hey, welcome to the Texas Ticket.
You waited for me then.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Texas Ticket.
Welcome.
It's becoming a thing now.
Texas Ticket. Punch it.
Say.
Yeah, I feel. Punch it. I looked everywhere for my shirt
punch
today.
like this.
We're
not a fighting show, right?
Punch it. Yeah, we're not a fighting show. That's right.
Clip it.
Punch it. You get that Texas Ticket punched all over the place these days,
buddy.
and there's just so much going on right now. And for those of you that don't know about all the going ons, my name's Armando Nino, and this is Hoffy Fredetta. We're co-hosts of the Texas Ticket Show, and today we've got some guests that just you don't have to
Something
just hear.
different,
Yeah, that way you don't have to hear us talk the whole time. But the Texas Ticket is about local events, local venues, from the vendor, from the people at it, the entertainers, the fun part, and mostly the fun part.
Yeah.
And, we try to cherry pick all the good off the top, or things that just seem crazy and a little abnormal.
Like the back of the house stuff.
Yeah, just like, what? You did what to make that? How'd you cook this?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I want to put my finger in the cake, before everybody gets a piece, But so really quick on today, we've got Curry Gaut from Agon Jitsu.
That's
on
what
the
they
show.
call it. I've come with it.
Man, he hurt some people. That kid,
Jiu-jitsu.
he'll fight you at breakfast and fight somebody else at dinner. Yeah, he's was in a recent MMA tournament. UFC.
Yeah,
I
he
think
sounds
he's got some UFC coming up. Yeah, and he knows what he's doing. He's got a school out. The Agon School does all age groups, and I've seen it. It's a large group.
Yeah.
There's a huge contingent. He's got a dojo going on down there. But he's going to be with us today. He's going to tell us all about it.
Sweet.
Also, we have Dustin McCulloch, yeah,
Dustin
DM
McCulloch.
Studios DM. He is the DM. He has a studio out in Old Town Spring and does a music production, music school. He teaches young people how to sing, and it's a good eye for talent, he says. And we're gonna have him as one of our judges for the Lake Conroe Scott Talent Show. That event's coming out at the end of the month, and we're all excited about that. We'll give you some more for all you karaokeers out there. Let's get right into some of the calendar really quick. You've got a couple of things. You want to throw one or two at them?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest one at the end of this month, we just went past Mother's Day, so we've got Labor Day weekend coming up. So May 27th through May 30th at Walden's. Actually, that's going to be all over the place, Memorial Day.
Memorial Day.
I said Labor Day. I always mix the two up. Sorry about that. So Memorial Day.
Yeah. And Memorial Day is for those that we've lost.
Yeah.
Right? And
so we
Labor
got that
Day.
coming up, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's not Labor Day, so I apologize. But guess what? At least I can pull that
Yeah,
South African ticket.
And you could be anywhere and not know this. A lot of folks don't know the difference between certain days.
Yeah, dude.
And exactly what it means. But they're down to have a good time, and that's great too. Texas has that for everyone, and it's a melting pot.
Yeah.
But
thank goodness for saving me on that one.
Well, for those that don't know, and Memorial Day is for those in memory of those lost in the service, and we'll give our moment there, and absolutely. So we'll celebrate that.
And we got live music, crawfish boils, and all that good stuff going on at Breakwater. Yeah, and
Breakwater,
Walden Yacht Club.
that's at the Walden Yacht Club.
Yeah,
Okay.
next to each other. We can actually do it from both places. So if you want to come out there, it doesn't matter.
I like some crawfish. Yeah, I'd come out and get some of that. The Cynthia Mitchell Woodlands Pavilion is really host to some of the bigger talents that come to the area, and hopefully we're mixing that up and they come in a core all over. But
yeah, it's a cool spot.
they got Jack Johnson August 27th out there. These are all ticketed shows, of course. You need to go online, Ticketmaster. They still got Ticketmaster. Kenny Chesney, June 2nd, also out there. But bringing it closer to home, we've got the Heritage Park here in Conroe, and they do the outdoor theater show. They're going to be showing Space Jam down there, and that was with MJ. That's over. It's
Michael
that is tonight at 8:15. You can catch that down there.
A lot of fun.
And I noticed all the movies at Heritage Park on the entire schedule. They're kids shows. So it's
if you make it kid-friendly,
family. Yeah, it's kids only. I mean, I was like, where's a good Die Hard? When can I get a Star Wars in here? I'd like to see that outside in the lawn.
That's good for you.
They need to bring it up a notch.
Couple of classics out there.
I get it, bring all the kids. And Lord knows they're catering to them out there at Heritage Park. So if you got some kids, it's definitely time to bring them out. They get the popcorn out there. They always have the little concessions and stuff.
Make it feel old school, yeah.
And the move's free.
It's
It's free. Yeah, you can just go sit in line, bring out a blanket, towel, sit and enjoy that.
So June 4th, this is a really special event to both of us as well. Layla Strong Car Wash Fundraiser. So
Layla Strong Car Wash.
Yeah,
She's the one with leukemia,
Yeah.
and there's been a lot of medical bills for Layla, and so, but it's just a nice opportunity to get together, and that's going to be right there at the Walden Lakeview Dining as well.
Yeah, and we've got everything in the parking lot, the car wash set up as well, so you come up there, get a good car wash, get some crawfish.
Do a donation as you drive through this thing. Yeah, sweet. And it couldn't go to a better cause. Little Layla. She's a sweetheart. And what a wonderful family. Her father's a good friend of mine as well. And Judd Hatch. And they blessed to have her kicking, blessed to have her strong, blessed to have her Layla strong, and we'll do everything we can to help. And we'll see what that does. You can find some of those links. We'll add in the little shares as we get some more information to share with y'all. We'll have it on Facebook.com/TX Ticket.
Yeah, you'll see it all over social media.
Facebook.com/TX Ticket. Also, the Walden Golf Club right up the road there, and I hate to keep throwing the Walden organization out there, but they got Cars and Coffee. They have a show down there, and that's May 14th, tomorrow. Cars and Coffee down at the golf course, and I think they're doing some car show. And,
that's a good spot for it as well.
It is. As long as the sun's shining, and it's been pretty. When I got pages, see this? I got pages today.
You actually prepared for something.
Yeah, I made some notes. The Lake Conroe Home and Outdoor Living Show.
Yes, sir.
It will be at Margaritaville, August 27th and 28th, both days. This is home show of the year. This is the one. Yep. I mean, if you live in our area, of course, there's other home shows and other places that are relevant to, Clear Lake, Houston, Fort Bend, Sugar Land,
Downtown,
Galveston, downtown, where they have these shows regularly. They do their rotation, but this is the fall show. This is summer show, August, right? That's summer, right?
So end of summer, starting of fall.
Yeah, end of summer, starting small. I think it's actually labeled the fall show.
Yeah.
But man, how fast it goes! We're May already, June, August.
Dude, it's coming up.
So
correct?
vendors would probably be a nice time to start inquiring about the Lake Conroe Home Show. It's at Margaritaville. They're taking the whole place. It's gorgeous.
And that's a massive location.
And everybody likes to go there anyway. We don't have a reason really most of the time. Why would I go up there? I don't know what to do when I get there.
You can go to Walden,
now you can go up there, do the whole thing. You got a purpose, walk the whole place, check it out. At the same time, look for all those little doodads and things you need around the house, and maybe find some things that you did in the Lake Conroe Home and Outdoor Living
Start on the
Show.
honey-do list, right?
August 27th, 28th at Margaritaville.
Yeah.
And that event will appear on Facebook. We'll have that shared out from our page. Also, the Lake Conroe's Got Talent event. That's going to be coming at the end of the month. And I don't know if it's the last Saturday of the month or the first Saturday of June.
But listening to some of the stuff that possibly is going to come out of this, I mean, it's going to be a good setup for somebody's future one day.
Somebody, whoever wins and gets selected there is going to get a royalty package deal to maybe even get, I don't want to go into
the possibilities. Yeah, I mean,
the possibilities are out there. You're going to get introduced to some of the right people, and we're going to explain some of that. And Dustin's real humble about how he introduces that, and he's always that way. It's just his nature. He worked a lot with some faith-based musicians, and he's worked a lot with some real
big names,
city big names, and we're pairing with them like Amp Up and Amp U, and a few other organizations that he works with that work with Beyonce Knowles and a few others. So they'll have that element to bring to the party.
Matt Knowles.
So that element's coming to the party for the Lake Conroe Got Talent show.
Dude, that's actually massive if you think about it. Like all the possibilities that can come from there.
Yeah, we'll bring their winner out to the show. We'll interview them. Pets Alive and
Your little pup, you're gonna get a
that thing's going on. If you haven't seen it, that's
Memorial
next
Weekend.
month. Yeah, Memorial Weekend.
Yeah,
that's right.
Because I told you as well, go get your pet vaccinated, get a chip, and then come back to
That's
Walden.
free. That's free. You can find those links in our stuff too. I think that's the 29th, 28th.
That same weekend.
And that's what was the name? It was Pets Alive and another really helpful group that works with the animals. Operation Pets Alive and Rolling Vets. Mm-hmm. That's it. Okay. And that's free pet vaccines and microchips. That's May 29th, 2 to 5. And that's on Sunday. Home and Outdoor Show. The Gun and Knife Show is tomorrow.
No.
That's tomorrow. We go do some whittling. And that's...
What was that movie, Son-in-Law? With... whittle some wood with Grandpa? There you go. Good. There you go. Get a good...
That's little...
Yeah. Holy Shore. There you go.
Well, that's all I got. And hey, let's get to Now let's get to this guy, Mr. Gaut, Curry Gaut from Agon Jiu-Jitsu. He just had a fight last weekend. He's got another fight coming up, and I'm dying to ask him some questions because. I mean, this guy's a spider monkey. He looks like he is great. He loves grappling. He looks like he can hurt some people, and then we're gonna go right into that soft touch and bring in Dustin. And I'm not even sure how all that's gonna roll out, but we got a good show. Yeah, let's get it started. Thank you for following the Texas Ticket. We'll be right back after this. Every Friday, tune into Texas Ticket on Conroe's 104.5 and 106.1 FM with Armando Nino of Gull Lake Conroe, focusing on Montgomery County area events and places. Get a feel of the Texas spirit at the event, paired with guest and vendor interviews, event coverage, and ticket giveaways, and so much more. Join us Fridays and punch your Texas Ticket. For more information on the show, visit irlonestar.com/Texas Ticket. Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Armando and Hoffy with the Texas Ticket, and we're here today with Mr. Curry Gaut. Curry Gaut.
Got you?
Yep. Like you got me.
I got this. I got that. We can all deal with that, but that's not what we're here to talk about. You're an MMA fighter, right?
Yes, sir.
That means you get down there and you get down to business. You're on and off the canvas. And
I love to fight.
Okay. Hey, when did you come to that realization?
I was about 5 years old, I guess.
Okay. And where is that 5-year-old gone to with this career? Just give me that was the beginning.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Where are you today?
Today I am a professional grappler and amateur mixed martial artist. So I started wrestling when I was 6 years old. My mom realized that I'd like to fight, so better put it somewhere at that point. And so I started fighting whenever I was very young. And you know they do the what do you want to be when you grow up projects in like the first grade. Yeah. Mine was UFC fighter.
No,
so like
really,
it's all I've ever wanted to do. And then I wrestled all through school, graduated high school, and started jiu-jitsu from there. Okay. And jiu-jitsu led me over into MMA, training Muay Thai. And all
Did
that.
you just pick those because they sounded cool?
Yeah, I was about to say, it sounds really cool.
Yeah,
those
are good names.
Those are like, everybody wants to learn all these different martial arts. They got all these cool names to them. Yeah. Well, there's really just two that you need.
Yeah.
And that's Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu. You have your striking and your grappling. You can blend in wrestling in there to make the transition. Yeah. But if you have those two things, you'll be successful.
You described yourself as a grappler, so I assume you're
correct. I prefer the ground. I got real short. I got real short arms, man. So I mean, I can hit hard, but I'd rather just strangle somebody.
Yeah. Okay. And submission holds and whatnot. What's the official records? Do you how does that kept, and is it different? Is it different where we go?
No, it's all the same. There's websites like Tapology, SureDog. They track everything. I'm not really sure how they do it, especially as an amateur, because you know fights happen all over the country, and as amateurs they really don't do a whole lot of tracking with it. I think right now it's like 4-2.
Oh, wow.
I believe is my MMA record. Jiu-Jitsu, I have no idea.
Oh, damn.
I've fought too many times to keep track of that.
Okay.
And there's not really a centralized tracking system for jiu-jitsu fights.
And you recently fought, right?
Yes. I just had a grappling super fight, is what they're called, last weekend.
So what is the class that you fight in?
What's that?
Like the class, is it different weight classes? Or?
Yes. I fight, if I'm in the cage, it's 135.
Okay.
If I'm on jiu-jitsu, it's 145. I won't make that type of cut for jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
The weight doesn't matter nearly as much when you're not getting punched in the face.
Yeah.
weight kind of matters when you're getting when somebody's hitting you. So
Yeah, I can imagine.
I'll cut a little bit more for that, but I don't do the strict cuts anymore. I cut to 125 once, and it almost was the end.
So what are you
of me,
walking with now?
Right now I'm like 152, 155.
Okay.
So you're gonna bring it down, or you're gonna keep it up at that?
I'll stay. This is where I like to stay,
Yeah.
and then a week out, I prep for the water cut and water manipulate my way down to the weight classes.
So who's one of the dudes that you looked up to and said, "Hey, man, this is why I want to fight"? Obviously,
Yeah,
you probably have a.
inspirations.
Yeah. You probably got a sibling. Do you have siblings?
No. I mean, I have sisters, but
So you wrestled them,
I
or
was the fighter.
I'm just gonna mess
yeah.
with you and see how you
Okay,
wrestled your sister?
which sister was the best
Yeah.
wrestler?
My youngest, actually, my tiniest sister,
Awesome.
my little bitty sister. Wildcat. She was so mean. I mean,
That's awesome.
she was like, I mean, she's 25 now, 24, and I think she just broke 100 pounds. So I mean,
man.
she's always been tiny, but she's so mean.
Yeah.
So like, she was always the one I was worried about. But other than that, yeah, my other sisters didn't really care much for scrapping. But yeah, I'd say my biggest inspiration was other fighters, really. Just watching fighters growing up. I went to Tascosa High School, which is up in Amarillo, and it's an Olympic.
Tascosa?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's an Olympic wrestling school. So
Oh, wow.
No way.
Brandon Slay went there, and he was an Olympic gold medalist. And so, like, just kind of being in that environment. Also, the Texas Crazy Horse, Heath Herring, he fought Brock Lesnar.
Did he?
He's from Amarillo as
Did he
well.
beat him?
It did not go well for him. No,
Oh, man.
no, he.
Seen Brock Lesnar?
Yeah, I've seen him.
You
dude,
seen
but
that famous
still, you didn't
clip
know?
where he hits that guy and the guy does like a backflip across the
Yeah.
cage? That was Heath Herring.
No.
Ow,
A bad day for him.
wow.
But there was a lot of fighters that came out of Amarillo, so it's kind of
Yeah.
in the culture there. And so,
That's awesome.
yeah, and like I said, I just love to fight. So,
Well, there you go.
never wanted to do anything
Well,
else.
you've got some other events coming up as well.
Yes.
Okay, and they're all different. You know, you've mentioned a couple different fighting styles. You know, Muay Thai and Jiu Jitsu, and then there's MMA official matches, and then there's whatever other matches you want to get involved in. Right? I mean,
Yeah, so I consider myself a very active competitor.
Yeah.
I compete at least once a month, whether it be jiu-jitsu, MMA.
That is active, yeah.
Yeah, I'm always, and then, I mean, like I own my school, so I fight every single day with my students, and they're not very nice to me. Like you notice right now, my ear is like half a shade away
yeah,
from
look
just
at that,
bleeding
yeah.
all over the place. I keep waking up with blood just from getting hit,
The cauliflower ears.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
mine
you go-
mine actually does it weird. So like most people like swell up. For
Yeah.
some reason mine like explodes.
Yeah.
It just bleeds
No,
everywhere.
I just have a lot
Oh,
of
no.
tips all over the
yeah,
place.
I
like
don't
you
know.
just-
I don't know why it does that, but I mean, I tell everybody cauliflower is never an indicator that somebody can fight
Yeah.
because I've seen guys get it after a month of training,
Yeah.
puffed up ears, and
Yeah.
it's genetic. I know guys that have been training for 20 years that have no cauliflower ear.
Yeah, we played rugby as well. So when you
Oh, yeah,
mold
rugby
the
will
whole
do
time,
it for
yeah.
sure.
But mine was all
Rugby
like
players, I mean,
yeah.
they all have it from the scrum.
Yeah.
So
That's crazy. Man, I don't know. I got really huge ears.
It
Navajo.
seems soft, isn't it?
yeah, but back to what we were saying of competition and stuff like that. So I do have May 22nd is the Nogie Ibjf Houston Open. So that's one of the biggest tournaments of the year for jiu-jitsu.
Okay. And where's this held?
This is at NRG.
You're
and-
going for this one.
Yes.
You'll be down there kicking somebody's
Yes.
ass. But
I have like 8 guys in my division right now. They're all tough dudes. Most of them from Houston. I think a couple of them I've already fought before. One guy is coming down from New York, I believe. So this is and there's a few guys from Brazil in it. It's a big tournament.
What do you hope to happen here? I mean, what's best case scenario for you?
I'm gonna strangle everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, and what does that do for your career? Where do you
Winning the Houston Open is a big deal. That'll get you a lot of notoriety. Put me pretty high in the rankings for the International Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Federation.
Okay.
So it's a big tournament.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
When
That's
people
awesome.
win this
And the
one,
fact that it's in city as well, I mean, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's close. So you have a gym as well.
Yes.
And how long have you had this gym?
just rolled over a year.
That's what we-
So it was a
and-
year in April.
Man,
Something.
you got a lot of students already
Yeah. The growth has been pretty phenomenal.
at the dojo.
It's technically considered a dojo. We call it a
Yeah,
school.
right.
Jiu-jitsu has a little, or at least my lineage of jiu-jitsu, we're not as political. and traditional as the other schools. Some schools are super traditional, got about a certain pictures, all kinds of things, and not my style.
Hey, whatever the sensei says.
Yeah, so
I mean,
I play music when we train. A lot of schools don't do that.
no way.
We do primarily Nogie instead of the gi, which is like the jacket and the belt and everything. We do primarily Nogie, which is shorts and a rash guard, just like an Under Armour shirt.
Okay.
And I do that just because, that's where the money's at. That's where the more fun fighting is at. When people want to watch jiu-jitsu, they want to watch Nogie. Gi gets kind of boring. A couple of guys, they pull guard, they sit down, and they're fighting over grips for 5 minutes. If you don't know what jiu-jitsu is, you're like, why did they do that?
No way.
It gets really boring if you don't know jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
But Nogie, that's a scrap. There's a lot of movement. You can't hold them down, so you're seeing a lot of moving, a lot of strangling arm bars. So it's a lot more exciting to watch. So I teach my students because that's where the money's going. That's where ADCC's is. So we pretty much stay Nogie.
Yeah. Okay.
We have 1 day of gi.
And the tournaments you're going to, the upcoming ones in May, you said?
Yes,
These are Nogie?
that's Nogie. So May 20.
Yeah, buddy. At least you make
I think we've worked the formula out.
So May 21st is the gi. They have gi competition on May 21st.
Yeah.
Same place. So the Houston Open is 2 days, and it's gi one day and then no gi the next day. But my coach and his school, and then me and my school, we all decided to just do no gi.
Yeah.
And so just focus on that. That way all of our training can be in the same
Yeah,
direction, our
yeah,
thought
that would
processes.
help.
Because they're very different.
Sure.
They're different but similar. So
Cool. In May, the first one,
yes.
which fight was that? Tell me about that. That's held in NRG.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
and there was another one you mentioned.
That would be the July 17th.
Tell me about July 17th. What's happening?
That's Fury FC Amateur Series. So
Okay.
that's the big one. That's Fury Fighting Championships. They are very closely tied to the UFC. They're kind of like the pre-UFC. You do well there, you go to the UFC.
like the whole Fury thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good with Tyson Fury.
Oh, yeah, obviously,
That
yeah.
movie with Brad Pitt with the tank.
Which was that?
Fury.
That's just the movie Fury.
It's called
yeah.
Fury.
It's a really good movie. You
Oh,
gotta
yeah.
check it out. Great movie, dude.
It was, right?
Completely unrelated to the topic, but yes, great
Totally
movie.
unrelated. But, the term Fury's come out a few times, and I don't
Yeah.
know what the affiliation might be, and I was thinking maybe it might be something with Tyson Fury's doing with all his extra
Yeah.
money these days.
Now, Eric Garcia out of Houston, he's a black belt under Travis Took over in Houston, and he owns Garcia Promotions, which is Fury FC is a part of Garcia Promotions,
Okay.
and Submission Hunter Pro, which is that's my grappling event that I fight on. So it looks very similar. The only difference is instead of there being a cage, there's just a stage.
Okay.
And so it's an elevated stage, big stage, and then people,
Center room,
bars,
they're all around it,
all the
or-
lights, the production value, the smoke, the screens, all the
I
cool
actually
stuff.
like the name Submission Hunter.
Because it's
Yeah.
sub
Awesome.
only. There is no points. You have to submit the person to win.
damn.
If you don't submit them, it's a draw.
Oh, no way.
So-
And how long does it go? What's
7 minutes for my division.
Yeah,
The title
It's
matches are
submission
10
or
minutes.
draw, right? Wow, that's
That's
crazy.
it. And everything's legal at purple belt. So heel hooks, neck
Okay,
cranks,
and
all that.
you're a purple too.
Correct. 2 stripes. Yeah.
2-stripe purple, and what does that mean?
Well, it means I've put a healthy bit of time to the mats for
Okay,
sure.
sure.
I've been training, I think, going on 7 years now.
Right on.
Maybe 6. It's hard to keep track these days. I train a lot. But basically, at the purple belt level, you are allowed to teach. So you should have basically a decent understanding of jiu-jitsu, the positions, techniques, and things like that.
And you're doing that now actively
Yes.
at the Agon gym.
Agon.
Agon, and where's Agon gym at?
It's in New Waverly,
So anywhere.
right off 45 and 150.
Okay, and tell us how we can find Agon gym if I'm interested and I'm in the area, or if I'm not and I want to go to your gym.
Well, the address is 995 TX150.
Okay.
77358 is the zip code.
How can I call you? Or is there a website? Do you sell everything on it?
So I have Facebook and Instagram. Those are my 2 main points of contact. Those are the easiest ways to get a hold of me. I am in the process of developing a website right now. But
I wanted to deliver our one of our kids at home, and my wife said, you got to take him to the hospital. And I said, why's that? Well, because I want him to live. And I said, okay, you're right. We'll get a professional to do it. So if you need one,
Yeah.
You just let me know. We'll get that
Gotcha.
website up overnight for you.
Yeah,
You see that sound?
that's a good segue. I liked it. That was smooth.
And if you're looking
It's
for a
funny
good...
because before I even started doing the show,
God, I hate building
segue. I was like, what
websites.
else is segue? So I've learned that
They're
word
really
quickly.
not the funnest thing to do. It's tedious work. It really is.
No,
And-
if you
and,
do it
you know,
right.
but you know, if I'd rather do an MMA website than a PVC or
Something
a
enjoyable.
A way more fun.
Yeah,
isn't
you
it?
get a website about washers. Good luck. Have a good time. Those
Dishwashers?
are the people that
Yeah,
just
I was
keep
about to-
calling me about
You can make it
building-
exciting,
Yeah, MMA would
Like
be fun.
flying washers or
almost
something.
like
No,
it.
I was gonna actually joke and say dishwashers, then get the what do you call them?
Golly, they got
they
to have one for every one of those things we just
Yeah.
talked about.
Oh,
That's
no.
crazy.
I found that mainly though my the demographic of what I'm going for with my students and
Sure.
the people that are going to be training jiu-jitsu, they don't care about websites.
Yeah.
They're all on social media now.
They just need to find you.
Everybody's on social media. If you don't have social
Yeah.
media, what are you doing? So
Right on. And what ages do you start with out there?
5.
5. Okay, so between 5 and what is your smallest group? What do you bracket them, or do they?
I
Just,
do. So really, it goes by size at that point.
Okay.
I don't have a teens class, just because of size reasons. I don't want one kid to show up,
Oh, yeah.
and so he doesn't even have a training partner at that point. So I do basically small and large.
Yeah.
So if you're a small kid, you'd be in the kids class. If you're a big kid, you'd be in the adults class. So
That's what happened to me
It's
in
like a-
boxing, dude. No, that's literally what happened to me. My dad was like, yeah, go box a little bit.
They put you in the big guy
dude,
class.
it was this guy that was 26, 27. He was my size and height and weight. And I was like, oh my goodness.
You're
look
gonna
at this
go
dude.
there.
I was
and you're like
no.
10.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I
I was
believe
like,
I don't like this, Dad.
Something's wrong.
No.
And I have a couple of teenagers in my adults class. It also depends on competency. If they can follow directions and they're actually engaged and
Yeah.
can move. Half the time with the kids class, it really is a bit of a daycare.
So do you move your higher age students into MMA fighting with you? Did they join you for these?
I
tournaments?
have some stricter requirements for MMA.
Have some found their way in
from
there?
my students. Yes, not my younger ones yet.
Okay.
I don't believe that kids should be hit in the head. Under a certain age, the brain is very soft at that age, and you take a bunch of strikes like that, it's not good for you.
Yeah.
It's not good for you as an adult.
But what about the more seasoned group, the more mature of the bigger group?
Oh yeah, I've got a handful of students that are all up in the fighting now.
Okay.
Especially so I've got a right hand student. It's considered my senpai. So he's like my uke, which is technically means dummy, but he's like the one I demonstrate everything on, the one I use for everything. Ironically, we're the exact same size and build. He's 16. And he's got a full beard. I mean, I don't know what
went to high
he's eating.
school with a guy like
food,
that.
But man, he's yoked, and
Yeah.
we sit there. I've gone to the bar, go to Torchy's or something. We'll have lunch or something, and they don't card either of us.
Difference,
He doesn't get anything, but I
He's got a full beard.
He looks 25 years old.
So how's he doing in tournament play, or is he doing any of that? Or
He is one of the. His potential terrifies me, to be honest.
Outstanding.
He is extremely good.
you must be proud to be a sensitive
Absolutely.
student like this.
I love
Yeah.
teaching him because he's just a sponge. He's a hard worker. I mean, extremely talented athlete. And he actually just competed in his first pro match on the same card that I did, this last one. And he lost, but he's been training 9 months, 10 months, and he took on a guy that's been training for 8 years
Oh wow. Okay.
and had a match with him. I mean,
Now,
they fought.
How do we set up these fights? How do we get? How do you know what's coming?
Social media is the main thing. Eric Garcia will post when it's time to apply for certain events.
Would you be open minded to any of their outside events?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not contracted or anything like that. Who calls me, I evaluate it appropriately and decide if it's something that I want to take. Sometimes there are people that don't exactly want you to win. And so
Sure.
I've been approached by guys like that. I got called on a 2-week notice for a 135-pound title fight in the cage
You gotta lose.
against a guy that's 9-0. And
You gotta be as 10-0.
there was no reason for this
No
guy to
way.
call me. I had no notoriety in Dallas. Nothing. So that's when they call some random guy a couple weeks out and feed you to this dude, and that's called record padding. I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, it's a very common thing in boxing and every martial art.
But you can make a mistake if you're that he can call the wrong.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've got a massive left hand, and everybody's got a puncher's chance. So I mean, they know this, but they kind of stack the odds against you. 2 weeks notice. You're not training for the camp. You're not prepared for this. You don't even know the guy or his style. So they do what they can. But I mean, my MMA coach, he had the same call. This is how I knew what it was, because I called him and I was like, hey, I just got this call, and he said, yeah, we're not taking that. He's like, that's it. That same promotion, I won't mention it, but the same promotion did it to him, and it didn't go their way that time. My coach beat him up, so so I knew what the game was at that point. But there are other promotions that I would fight for if it's the right opportunity and it sounds good. I try not to overload myself too much, because I'm human and my body hurts.
Yeah, and you got to train all the kids. They need you there.
I got to train every day. I can't.
Run a business.
I can't get hurt. I got to be smart, especially now. I'll be 29 next month, and so I got to be smart if I'm going to continue this life.
So if we slap box, are you in enough control where you won't hurt me?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just curious, because I always had friends that you'd slap box with, and every now and then you get a bloody nose. Yeah. Like, dang, dude, we're just supposed to be slap boxing. What's up?
I'm knocked somebody clean out with a slap box before.
Oh yeah, I don't want to play.
Sleepy time.
I had a quick question. So you talked about the purple belt. How do you get to a black belt?
Keep training.
How many years do you expect, or is there no expectation?
Yeah, you can't really expect because especially somebody like my coach. I have no idea. Yeah. That man will surprise. I could have no stripes on a belt and get the next belt. He doesn't really stick with a lot of the standards. It goes by, if say like tomorrow I were to win the world championships at purple belt, I would be a brown belt the next day. He's not gonna let me sandbag is what we call it. No, so sure. If I start smoking everybody in my division, it's time for the next level. And then once you're black belt, there is no next level, so you keep smoking people at that level.
That's awesome. So he dictates that.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's entirely up to him. I purchased my brown belt because that would be the next one. Yeah. Is my brown belt, and I bought it because that's appropriate. You don't have to not buy your belt. And I gave it to him because I wanted a certain belt. I wanted a certain brand, certain length. Okay. I'm kind of bougie when it comes to my belt. I'm gonna have it forever. Yeah. So I want a nice one. And so I handed it to him at practice the other day, and I go, here you go. You can let that collect dust in your closet for a while.
No.
Because I don't know. I mean, it's gonna sit in there until he decides I've earned it.
Yeah, but that levels up your gameplay. You got to go against different opponents.
You got to be better.
How long have you been with him?
Forever. Yeah, he's been my only jiu-jitsu instructor.
But you're a young guy. You say forever in a limited capacity.
But my entire training career of jiu-jitsu.
But start when you're 5. You start fighting somewhat, wrestling and doing something like that. Okay.
That's awesome.
And how old are you now? How am I?
28.
28.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, 29 on June 11th.
There you go.
That's the same as my brother, man.
Nice.
4-2 out in New Waverly, Texas. Agon Gym.
Yes.
And you can find him on Facebook at facebook.com/Agon.
Agon Jiu-Jitsu.
Jiu-Jitsu. Can't spell jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I was about to say
JIUJITSU.
At least I've got an excuse. I'm not from here, so he doesn't have any excuses. So.
It's not from here. That's not one of ours.
It doesn't matter.
No,
it's Japanese.
That's Japanese, bro.
Yeah, but I still apologize.
That word's imported.
No.
Ironically, it's Japanese for the gentle way.
Yeah.
It's not gentle at all. I don't know why they would name it that.
Oh, no way. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's not gentle even a little bit.
It's not. It's crazy how they've some of the words, and I guess it's meant to that ebb and flow of the whole thing.
Yeah.
That chi.
It is. It is. Some people call it the lazy way. Because it can be. It can be very lazy in jiu-jitsu.
No
especially if you're wearing a gi. Oh, yeah.
It's kind of like relaxing. Yeah. I think relaxing is more what they meant.
Yeah. In the gi, like me and you, you're obviously much larger than I am. But in the gi, I can use your sleeves, your collars, your belt. I can make it to where you can't even move. Yeah. And I'm 150 pounds. It's mind blowing. Yeah. Like it'll mess you up the first time it happens. You got a 130 pounder that's holding you down, and you're like, this doesn't make any physical sense.
That's awesome.
I should be able to bench press him right now, and you can't.
Well, man, I hope you keep on kicking.
Yeah, dude.
Keep on doing what you do, and we want to hear back. And we want to keep up with the career. We'll check back in here later, and
absolutely.
But we'll call it our time unless you had any other questions you could.
Oh, no. That was awesome.
Man. And thanks for coming out and visiting
absolutely.
the show.
Thank you guys for having me.
We're going to put some links down here at irlonestar.com/Texas ticket. and you can find the show there, and you can find all our details there, and details about you, and in the comments on our social media and all that. We'll put some follow up for them to find you, and hopefully keep up with your career and see where you go from here.
Absolutely.
I mean, you got some time, man. You got some things you can do. Make some
it's been
moves.
awesome,
Yeah, it was great.
Awesome. Hey, man,
Great talking.
pleasure.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for
Yeah,
coming
buddy.
out.
Thank you.
I like the tattoos.
Thank you, brother.
Hey, tune in to the Bridge Podcast TX Tuesdays at 11 a.m., where we are connecting commerce with community, interviewing business owners and leaders in the community, allowing the audience to peek behind the curtain of what inspires, motivates, drives these individuals to have meaningful, positive impact in this community. For more information about the show, log into irlonestar.com/TBPTX.
Welcome back to the Texas Ticket.
With Dustin McCulloch.
Dustin McCulloch.
I got it, dude.
Yeah, you did. And Dustin McCulloch music and
Yeah.
what's the
DM Music
studio?
Studios
Yeah,
is
DM
my
Music
is
Studios.
my
Okay.
studio where I operate out of. Yeah.
Well, we are so grateful to have you here, and I'm dying to explain why. I'm going to let you do most of that because there was more acronyms and credentials in the dialogue than I'd like to try to attempt to remember to repeat back to people. So one of the reasons why we called you in is because, Texas Ticket's an event-based show. We love the happenings and the music and the entertainment and shows, trade shows, you name it,
Yeah.
anything like that. Anything that would interest the folks in Montgomery County and the folks about stuff around Texas.
And support a community as well. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's here, 'cause, this is our reach, the station's reach. This is where people listen to us. They can always catch us on Apple, Spotify. They can catch Texas Ticket, and it's on Facebook, and with those links, and sure, it's a worldwide reach, but there's only so many topics that are worldwide. Now, music does have a worldwide reach.
Absolutely.
I
it
can
does.
I can find guys in Egypt
Universal
listening
language.
to some country music, Texas country.
South Africa listening to Limp. Remember that?
South Africa, the presidents of the United States.
States of America, yeah.
Yeah, they're it's awkward on and the irony just has no bounds with music. And I get certain genres like things like baseball or football or rugby, but these are genre based. You got to be in an age bracket or have X or have relation of some sort. But music, I think it crosses all boundaries.
Well, music's also one of the biggest cultural outputs that America has to the rest of the world. So like a lot of times Americans think that Americans have no culture, and it's like actually the number one export of America is culture.
Wow, that's fabulous.
Yeah.
That's cool to say.
Yeah, people
It's
don't.
cool to
People
hear.
don't. Yeah, people don't realize it. But like, even when you have bands from across the sea, things like that. Like, well, what are they doing? They're trying to get to the American market. They're trying to get American producers to get their stuff out and make it what they want it to be. But it's also heavily influenced by what America has already done. So, anyways, yeah. So it's kind of one of those, other nations. England's had tons of musical influence and things like that. But there's just no comparison as far as
American
what America
music culture.
outputs to the world
Look
is.
at Dave Matthews, no?
Yeah.
Look at Dave Matthews.
Dave Matthews. Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah. Is he big in South Africa?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Wow, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
no,
big everywhere, right?
Dude, what
Dave
was it,
Matthews, big in South Africa. Let me write that down.
please
here.
do, yeah.
I need that for later reference. Where did you first get into music? Where's the involvement begin here? Before we
Well,
talk about DM music and what you
sure.
do and what we're gonna do and all that's
Yeah.
gonna about
Sure.
transpire.
So my history with music goes back to all the way when I was a child. My mom and my grandmother are both pretty musical, but they don't have any kind of training. They just are musical. They've got talent. And so my older sister, my older brother, and myself all born and just loved music, had a natural talent. My sister she's got the most amazing voice in the world.
Wow.
And she wanted to go all in. She wanted to really make a run for this and make music her career. And my brother, too, wanted to do songwriting and be a producer and in a band at one point, just all kinds of stuff. And I learned, piano, taught myself the drums, taught myself guitar, things like that. Was always able to kind of sing, but didn't really do much of it. Partly because I felt like I was the younger sibling, like the older two. I was like, well, they've got that covered.
They got the lead singer.
Yeah, they've got the music thing down. So I'll do something else with my life. I'll go get a real job, And so I went to college. Was the only one of my siblings to go to college, and other than my step siblings. And
For music,
it's a big family.
Did you go to college for music?
No, that's what I was going to say. What's funny
so-
is I really was like, I'm going to totally go for something totally different. And when I, graduated, I was kind of on a career path, and my sister had started working with a guy named Tom McKinney. Tom McKinney is a vocal coach in Houston who worked with Beyonce when she was in Destiny's Child. He worked with Demi Lovato when he was just getting her started when she was like in Dallas as a teenager. And then he also really got Scott Hoying going. If you know who Pentatonics is, the a cappella group, they do a lot of cool stuff. Anyway, so my sister started working with Tom, and it got to a point where she was given a chance to try something with a label, and she decided not to. Because she had kind of matured to a point where she was like, actually, I think I may want something different, because there's a lot that goes to being in a label and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's immature to be a part of a label. I mean, that was her maturity led her to not be in a label. So, anyway, so that led me to kind of having an opportunity one time. She was like, you should go work with Tom and take a lesson of mine. So I took one of her lessons, and I was totally doing, I was off doing something totally unrelated to music, and then had this lesson with Tom, and he was like, he's like, I could teach you to be an associate teacher. It's like, you have a good talent, you're a lot like your sister, so you should, think about that. And at the time I was like, nah, I'm good. No problem. I've got my own thing I'm doing. Yeah. But then, I thought about it, and, really just sat with me for a while, and I was like, maybe this is something I would like to try. And so started working with my sister at first, to kind of look into like,
she already knows this.
Yeah, exactly. She had already gone through the whole process. Sure. She's a pro at this point. Anyways, so that was kind of how, music's always been a part of my life. It's always been, really important to me, been deep in my family. But as far as my shooting for it as a career, it actually didn't come until I was in my mid-20s. So,
wow.
Yeah, which is late for, people who want to make a career out of music. Yeah. Usually
you've never been too far from it. Yes. And
of course.
Usually they say start young. We've gone over this whole start young, from boxing to wrestling to music. And you never, old folks will tell you never can tell. Yeah. Every now and then you'll find a prodigy or somebody will just show up. And I've been on both sides of that fence. Because we did a lot of jazz stuff. There's a recent jazz festival, and the old Whiplash, and you got to start out super young and all that, and it brings on questions, when and merited questions the older you start in life, and but you seem to have done really well. You have a
I was going to say the big thing is really just it's just that. Once I started, I realized I was like, I made a mistake this whole time. I should have been doing this for so much longer, and I hit the ground hard running, just and when you have that drive and that passion, even if you start late, you can get things done.
Yeah. So. And I'm going to go ahead and plug it. Now, it's still in the works, but sometime towards the end of the month, Texas Ticket is going to do a Lake Conroe's Got Talent show.
You going to perform?
No, wow, I'd be wasting time. We don't. No.
Too much. Times,
I don't know how good you are, bro, but you don't want any part of this. This job's a tough hill to climb.
You should start, right? You can start now.
Man, I don't know.
Segue into that.
Yeah, then I'll just somehow be able to sing karaoke normal after years of work. Yeah, it's amazing. You did good. You can normally sing that song adequately at a minimal expectancy after a decade. Yeah,
After a decade.
Good job. You're doing great. And it would be a monumental gain for you.
Oh,
and your
yeah,
studio to have accomplished these tasks.
Yeah.
But, as it is, Lake Conroe's Got Talent karaoke competition's coming. We're not going to disclose the location yet. It's still in the works. We're putting ink on paper. But you're going to be with us on the judges panel.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And so in that little crafting up the right show, we've also wanted to make sure that we wanted to bring a valued prize. Now, if we hand a starving artist, $500, what's he going to do with that? Maybe pay a bill, take care of something he needs, but one thing that it's give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day, teach him to fish and he'll eat for a lifetime. So what we're going to do is take that second step there and show him, and I'll put that into your court on what your offering is for the winner and for and some of the thoughts on the runners up and that you had mentioned.
Yeah. So one of the prizes is going to be 6 lessons, and they're hour-long lessons. So that's a little over like a $600 value, right? Okay. So 6 lessons. They'll be set up. We'll kind of figure out a time for those. When we do those, they'll be at my studio, and we can do the online things too. It's always better to do things in person though. So 6 lessons, 1 hour sessions
For our winner.
Yes, for the winner.
Something with substance, no?
Yeah,
right. That's great, and they could say they worked with you, and I've seen some of your progress, and you've seen your work come to fruition from young people
absolutely.
to young talent, and that got there with you, and how does that feel?
Oh, it's that's one of the things that made me realize that I should have been doing this a lot sooner. Is one of the first one of the first students I took on was a lady that wanted to, she was a songwriter. She did lots of songwriting with people, but she didn't contribute any melody. She was just a lyricist, right? She did lyrics.
Okay.
And she wanted to contribute melody, but she really couldn't. She didn't have control. She didn't have good pitch recognition. And so we started working with each other, getting her that pitch recognition, some control. And then one time she was at a songwriting session, and she said, well, what if, she was, with the people that she works with regularly. And she was like, well, what if we did, this kind of thing? And she kind of allowed herself to put a melody out into the air. And everyone in the room was like,
oh my goodness.
Like, did you just do that? Did you, not only were they surprised that she, had the courage to do it, but also they knew that she wasn't a particularly good singer, and what she did was in the right scale and it sounded good. And so she came back and was like, you will never believe what happened.
That's rewarding.
And when that happens, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And there's one student I've had, a young girl. I've had her as a student since she was 13 years old.
Yeah.
She sang good, but she didn't sing much above a whisper, when she first came, and now she's just this outstanding voice, outstanding performer. She has 5 octaves of range, which is very rare, and would probably not have known that she was capable of something like that. So
that's awesome. How much goes into this, isn't it?
Yeah. There's a lot of what I do is teaching people how to sing what we call with the ease of speech. So this is something that Tom McKinney's voice mentor named Seth Riggs, he got it started up, and it's kind of taken over. Lots of people, it's really all over the country, and lots of people kind of have their own variation and spin on it, and they call it something else. But Seth Riggs really kind of got the whole thing going.
Oh, no way.
And so it's basically allowing people to kind of discover the technique of being able to hit notes higher, hold their voice out longer, hit notes with a big full sound, but not necessarily feel like they're straining a whole lot.
And you work a lot with endurance on getting them through a show or
exactly.
a segment or a set.
So I have several...
Still maintaining the right...
Exactly. I have several students who will do 3-hour gigs a night, and they need to be able to do that 5 nights a week. So how do you maintain a voice?
Yeah.
So anyways, that kind of stuff, and I'm immensely grateful to Tom. He still teaches, and like I said, I'm an associate teacher of his, and you know, I owe so much to Tom and Colleen, his wife. I mean, me and my sister do, and I owe so much to my sister as well. I mean, I wouldn't be doing this if it weren't for my sister.
Right.
I get 6 lessons with you doing all that.
Yeah, and we'll,
Yeah.
you know, and
you've got your own studio there, right? You could produce
exactly.
albums if you wanted to. You could
Well, my thing is, I always tell people, so I have
slowing me
everything
down.
required. I have everything required that you would need to produce an album. But I always tell people, my thing is, if I'm going to record people, which I do have the setup to do, I like to focus on vocals. I'm more so a vocal producer than a full track producer. You know. I've done some things for people, you know, to help them with tracks and things like that. But honestly, there are people that are just better at that aspect of it, you know. But the vocal side, you know, I feel good about.
But they can get a good feel for what they sound
absolutely.
like in a studio because they're in
absolutely.
one,
Yeah.
and they
Professional studio.
and they can get the acoustics right, their feel right. They can, because sometimes when I hear myself sound, it's not at all what I thought I sounded like.
Yeah. Well, and that's a big thing too, is showing people how to shape that sound. Like, you know, instead of saying, you know, ooh, say ah, and you think like that's not that big a deal, but it's a huge deal. I mean,
So there was for our Lake Conroe's Got Talent. Now I want everybody to know about Lake Conroe's Got Talent because we're about to just blow that balloon up, and it's only going to be 2 or 3 weeks from now, towards the end of the month. This month,
Quick,
yeah.
Yeah, so it'll come up quick. It'll be on a Saturday. You know, get our summer started right there towards the end of school. And if you've got talent, you can always check out GoLakeConroe.com. We'll put a link up there so you can find your way to it. But you mentioned something for like the top 5, the runners up, and the winner themselves that'll give them another opportunity.
Yeah, so I'm not exactly sure where this will break down on the prize section, but there is a group that I work with called AmpU Music. They are an artist development company. Jake, who is their one of the co-founders of this company, Jake was the A&R director for Matthew Knowles' studio, which was with
That's Beyonce Knowles'
I was going
dad,
to say,
right?
so that's Beyonce Knowles' dad.
Okay,
When they had their studio going in Houston for Destiny's Child, and Jake was their A&R director. And A&R means artist and repertoire, which just means that they build out the songs and the kind of musical image of the artist, right?
Okay.
So Jake then started his own company after working at that studio for many years, started his own company called AmpU Music. And so I talked with him, and I partner with them. We do a lot of things together. I have clients that will do work with them and help get songs produced and then released and then boosted on Spotify and all this. They have a whole range of services. And so what I asked them to offer was a consultation for one of the prizes, and so one of the people that is one of the participants of this karaoke competition will be getting a consultation with.
Well, that's
this
not
group.
necessarily the winner. I think we called that a random selection. So everybody's got a chance to get
so
that.
they get scouted out.
Yeah, right. So it's going to be something that allows them to go and have a meeting with Jake and to talk about their interest as an artist. And so this would really be a prize for somebody who's wanting to do something with their music, wanting to truly, make an investment in themselves and in their future as a artist. Right.
And Jake's going to get he won't get an amateur. He'll get one you helped to judge. Now there'll be other judges.
Yes, of
but
course.
he'll also get 6 classes with you, so you'll be able to round him a little bit, get him primed for his time to go meet with Justin, and make sure that he's going to be able to fine tune for his best before he goes. And I would suggest putting that at the tail end, but I'm not the sensei here.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like,
but
it's
this would give him a good
So Jake
chance,
and them like they do work with tons of artists that you would know. I mean, they've obviously had that relationship with Beyonce, but also do work with Solange, which is another artist that's actually Beyonce's sister, and then they are the ones that put together the country duo Maddie and Tay, who've had great success. They went on tour with Carrie Underwood a few years ago, I think, something like that.
Cool.
So, yeah,
Well,
so
Carrie
they've,
Underwood.
they've got lots of really
Carrie.
well, and honestly, so like I've done camps like where we do songwriting trips to Nashville with my students and things like that, and because of Jake, because of AmpU, we were able to get into the home writing studio of a guy named Ashley Gorley, which you wouldn't know off the top of your head, but Ashley Gorley is like Nashville's premier #1 songwriter. He has something close to 40 #1 hits. He works with like Luke Bryant, Trace Adkins, Carrie Underwood. Like he's got.
And you got your whole school to go to visit with him and go that into Nashville?
Yeah, we took students to go to his home studio and actually and it was sick. I mean,
I've seen your school. It's nice. Your facility's really attractive. Did you remodel that whole place? And
actually,
because it looks like it was way too custom suited.
Sure. So we did some of that, but what's funny is, it's above this old coffee shop. Like this building is 100.
How perfect is
yeah,
that?
This building is 104 years old.
Oh wow. Okay, you would not have seen that. You know, you
no,
couldn't
and
know.
it's and I love it. It's got so much character, and there's
Yeah.
a coffee shop below us, and I'm upstairs. And so what I did was when I saw this building, I was like, man, I just love the vibes of this place. Like everything about it just seems like creative and comfortable.
Yeah.
And I walked, and they said they were leasing upstairs, so I went upstairs and I looked around and I was like, none of these rooms quite fit. I was like, but there's this open space, like this kind of open lounge area. I was like, if y'all would put a wall right here, I was like, this would be like a perfect space. Like this would be something I'd be interested in. The guy was like, I can put a wall up. Yeah. So we did. We put a wall up. I put sound treatment and stuff like that in there, and so it's not.
It's nice. It looks great, and I got that artistic vibe from looking at the videos. I haven't actually been in the studio. It's in spring, right?
Yes. Yeah. Old Town Spring.
Old Town Spring. And I saw your class and the people. It looked like a real good culture you got going there.
Oh, that's awesome.
And something I think would be. And you've got a lot of Christian background in working with the church and some of the other.
Yeah, I have a few worship leaders actually, students and things like that who are singers at their church and things like that. So,
that's fantastic.
Yeah, and then I also work at a church that's part time. I'm their music person. So Wednesdays
are you singing
and
at the
Sundays.
church? Are you singing?
Every twice a week. Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's such a good range or something.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Man, I don't want to put you on the spot. I was going to say sing some a cappella.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not on the spot.
I
didn't want to.
You're talking about me, right? Gosh.
He's actually
that's funny. Actually, I got a student I'm working on that exact song with. Gosh, now I just got to think of something to sing off the top of my head though. It's always a hard time.
What about the Frank Sinatra coffee song?
No, I would do something like a little bit more.
Coffee shop downstairs.
Yeah.
Let me see. What's all right? So, hopefully I won't screw this one up. But, so there's Adam, Maroon 5. This love has taken its toll on me. She said goodbye too many times before, and her heart is breaking in front of me. I had no choice, 'cause I won't say goodbye anymore. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Anyways,
there it is. Yeah, that was great. Yeah.
There you go.
And that, I know why you chose that. That song has a lot of flex. So your range is all over the place in there. You're singing at real high levels and bringing it down. Yeah, that was very well
so
done.
many people singing yet. Was it good? 2 thumbs up.
I got it great.
all right.
2 thumbs up.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing, and you've like I said, you've had some young people do some crazy stuff. Some come in and just take them from a rough diamond in the rough to a performer. And was that Do-Si-Do you had them at? There was some folks.
I have done some things at Do-Si-Do. We recently did a showcase with Tom and his students at the Do-Si-Do. So he does things there. But the big one that I did with just my students not long ago was at the Wunshi Brothers Cafe in Old Town Spring.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they have
I like that
they have a
place.
downstairs stage area that I don't see used a whole lot. And I went and talked to the manager. I was like, hey, I feel like we could do something really cool together here.
Yeah.
We had a little over 80, somewhere between 80 and 90 people that came out. We had
They got to see their family.
yeah, we had like 6 performers,
cool.
and they killed it. I mean, they did such a good job. They
That's awesome.
they really made it a memorable night. So always try to give my singers opportunities to do special things like that. My little ones, so I don't always have tons of little kid students, right? But lately I've
When you
had
say
a little.
little, what age group? Yeah, what age group are we
I mean,
talking?
like 12 and younger, so like 12 is pretty normal, 11 fairly normal, 10 sometimes, but below that, there's not a lot, right? And I'm not that I won't take them, it's just that, so like 12 and to 7, that's kind of my, I don't much go below
My
7.
daughter's 6 years old. I think she can break glass. I mean, no, hammer needed. She's got a little shriek that she does when she's having a good time, or surprise her with a
That's
pair of new
awesome.
shoes and watch what happens. Yeah, she'll start breaking windows, and I'm like, man, it went on for a long time. It was real high, and I think you got something there.
Yeah.
Is that one of the telltale signs?
A child being loud, a telltale sign of singing.
She's got great acoustic, great vocals, man. She is out there. You can hear her down the street.
I mean, it's not a negative. We'll put it that way. So
Or like a battle cry, you get a good battle cry, like when, what was that? I don't remember what movie it was, but they were the father of the tribe was about to get killed in this attack on the village, and he let out his battle cry, and all the sons on the mountains were like,
What?
"It's Dad. We've got to go back to the village," and then they all rushed down there. But it was like this, just this Indian. That was more Arab than Indian, but
Yeah.
he had a great Indian battle cry, and it was pretty cool. All kinds of ways you can use acoustics. For,
Absolutely.
Do you play with it a bit? I mean, other than just singing a song, like
so we
more-
kind of figure out people's style, right? So
how do you do that? All that.
sometimes you just have to try different things and experiment, and then sometimes it just hits you, and you're like, so I had one guy, I really like this guy's voice, and he's young, 21 years old, and he was coming in and he was doing stuff for his church, which I love, and I always encourage him to continue to do that. But the worship songs that he was bringing, I felt like didn't quite, they didn't just have that thing that gripped you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They, it's like he was singing it right, but it just didn't like pull you in necessarily.
We were just talking about that the other day. About there's
well,
a
and-
lot of faith-based. I love my faith, but I
Yes.
don't love every faith-based song.
No, of course. And also, if you have a very particular voice,
Yeah.
like a lot of worship music is better if you're a worship leader that has kind of a very versatile voice or a very plain voice, actually, like very simple, right? But if you have a very kind of standout, unique kind of voice, sometimes that worship music can be kind of difficult for you because your voice just won't fit it necessarily. So anyways, he came in one day and he was like, I want to try this R&B song. And I was like, oh, okay, sure. Why not? And as soon as he opened his mouth, I was like, "That's all we're doing from now on, man." I was
This is
like,
all we're doing.
Yeah, I was like, dude,
Tiana
this,
Hall, she started opera and ended up jazz
yeah,
in her career, and now she's just a lifer. She's been jazz ever
Yeah.
since. But her
That-
first few years in music was
that actually
in
happens
opera.
a lot.
But see,
Actually,
this story
opera
reminds-
people move to jazz and blues like
Pretty regular.
regularly, yeah.
Okay.
But see, this story reminds me a lot of. I was trying to see if I can get it or whatnot, but it might pop up. But
Go, yeah.
his sister was performing on Somebody's Got Talent. What is it called?
America's Got Talent.
No, but it was the overseas one as well.
Oh,
it was
okay.
the UK one.
Yeah.
And so she was performing, and the guy was a cell phone salesperson, and he basically performed immediately after her, and he got the golden buzzer from Simon Cowell.
Right.
And I can't remember the dude's name, but he's got a whole bunch of #1 hits, and it just reminds me of this whole story. His sister's performing and does the whole thing.
Sundance Head?
Say?
Sundance Head?
No,
He
no,
won
no.
The Voice.
No, it was the UK one, but I'm
Yeah.
gonna
Oh,
get
no,
that
the UK
information.
one.
But
That's
it reminds
imported.
me so much about that because his sister performed.
Mm-hmm.
Get off the stage, and then he comes on, boom, belts it out, and
Yeah.
cheers.
Well, and you never know too. Like she might have the most amazing voice ever, but just picked the wrong song, or just got got the wrong mood of the judge that day, you know, kind of what maybe they already heard something that sounded like that earlier. There's so many variables with that stuff. I always encourage people to try those things and do it for fun, right? It's a good experience, it's good learning, good exposure, but it's not necessarily something that especially with different shows like The Voice. The Voice is actually about the judges, right? They are a TV show, and they don't make any bones about it. Like, you know, American Idol was like, we want to make the next big superstar. The Voice was like, we want to make an entertainment show. You know, so the singers going on there, you know, your career afterwards is going to be greatly helped, but it's not going to be like you know, they're not trying to make Kelly Clarkson. You know, they're
and
promoting
I think,
the judges.
I think for we're not going to do anything of the sort like that at the Lake Conroe karaoke.
No, I was going to say. I mean, I don't. Yeah, we don't have anything.
But the coolest thing is, what did you go to school for? Like, that still bothers me a little bit because I'm sitting here.
What did you go to school for?
I went to school for Christian studies. I was like a Hebrew minor. I went I know you know, all the dead biblical languages and all that stuff.
Cool. That's cool as hell as well, man. I thought you were going to say accountant or something like that.
No.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah. So.
Wow, we went a lot of international today. We learned a lot of different languages. You know,
jiu-jitsu?
We said jiu-jitsu like 4 times today. It's like we were talking in Japanese.
I actually told him, I was like, dude, you need to know how to spell that. It's from you. He's like, no, it's not from you.
No idea, man. You're going to have to say that out loud for our audience.
Whatever. I'll take it.
So I know you like Marvel movies, right? So
I do. Absolutely. You saw them on my website.
That's all I got. But at the end, you know, you got the you know, that little bit about not getting hit in the head, you know, and I'm good with that. Don't hit him in the head. He doesn't like that. And make sure you catch the caption at the end of the Marvel movies.
Nice.
Yeah. So I had to ask, what do you think of the Doctor Strange, or have you seen it?
The new one, the one that just came out, I haven't seen it. But here's what I will say. All right, this is kind of. I do love Marvel movies, and I'm probably gonna watch all of them even as they continue to come out. But I will say this: when they sold to Disney, I think they made a mistake, which was they went into this multiverse realm. You know, which I mean may have been inevitable or whatever.
Get a little weird.
Well, the thing is what you end up doing is like. Something like storytelling in general, what makes storytelling compelling is the idea of, you know, like the things that are all central to humanity, right? Life and death, love, you know, these things that are kind of core issues. And when you remove death, which is what a multiverse does, right? You remove death from all of the characters. Like no matter who dies, they can always come back, right?
That's already happening.
Exactly. And that's what it's like. It's kind of like, it's like that moment when Iron Man dies, right? When, you know, Robert Downey Jr., you know, sacrifices himself for the good of everybody and all that kind of stuff. And you're like, oh my gosh, we lost something, right? With the multiverse, it's like, he'll be back.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he'll do a cameo, and I know that it's related to the actor itself. But my point is that you lose this sense of like what makes The Walking Dead so good, right? Because you know at any moment, any episode, it doesn't even have to be like at any moment, any of your favorite characters could be gone, right? And never coming back, right? Whenever we lost, you know, what's his name? Was it Glenn? I can't remember. That's brain fart. But anyways, like everyone, you know what I'm saying? Like,
everyone in that show, pretty much. There's only a handful
and that captivates. That captivates, and it makes people angry.
Or if they're coming back,
there's more emotions to it,
right? There's exactly, you know. But like with the Marvel movies, you lose it all because they're, you know. So I do love all the Marvel movies. They're very entertaining. I think they're fun. I actually collect comic books still.
There's a big Comic-Con coming to Conroe soon, next 3 months from now, 2 months.
Yeah.
I actually went to one in New Orleans, dude. It was my favorite time.
Oh, yeah?
Stan Lee. That's just before he passed, obviously.
Oh, that's awesome.
Man, that was one of the
Speaking
people I wanted to
of
meet.
cameos in the last little bits, and you know, Howard Duck was, you know, the last little tidbits, but I mean, I guess our final here, and the studio again is in Old Town Spring.
Yep.
And are you taking students now, or considering students?
Yes,
now?
yeah. So whatever, you know, availability that I can swing, is,
Sure.
is it's not always open, but there's usually spots floating available. So
and we're going to fill one of those spots with somebody from Lake Conroe's Got Talent.
Absolutely.
And we're going to do that towards the end of the month. And we'll see you next there, and we'll share that. We'll be broadcasting from there. We're doing a little something in our podcast or do our show from there. So we'll go from here to there, and the winner will get 6 hours, 6 different sessions with
Yep.
you to work with, and
Yeah.
you'll be on our judges panel, and we'll have an opportunity to meet Amp Up.
Amp U music.
Amp
Yeah.
music. Yeah, that's
What's that,
fantastic.
Jake?
Yeah, Jake is the
And that I don't even know what
head
happened to
there.
price tag on that. What a generous offer, and Amp U. Thank you for that. And
Yeah.
we'll bring more details, and we'll have that on our website. And but in the meantime, they can check you out at where.
DMmusicstudios.com is
There you
my
go.
website. So DM and then music. So there's 2 M's. That confuses people sometimes. So DMmusicstudios.com. And then all my social media stuff, it's all inconsistent. So it's Dustin McCulloch Music if you're on Facebook or Instagram. So that, one of these
we'll
days I'll
find
need
you
to change that.
Well, we'll certainly share some links, and
Yeah,
we'll share
dude.
some stuff because we
appreciate
want to
that.
brag about it, and we want to make sure we get as many of the real talent out in the area to show
Yeah.
up for the tournament on that Saturday evening, and then we'll get them all together, and we'll be ready to sort it out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man,
it's going to be a good night for
Yeah,
sure.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, it sounds like it's just going into.
So check out Mr. McCulloch at his website there. His links in the details. Thank you for catching up with us here, and we'll be right back here after this. We're going to take a brief break. Come right back. Cheers.